Ladies and gentlemen, not everyone who cries out for help deserves it. Not everyone who extends a hand is reaching for salvation. Some are reaching to pull you down. Today, I give you a truth that may be hard to hear. There are people in this world who will take your kindness and turn it into your downfall. If you want to protect your heart, your energy, and your destiny, here are 7 types of people you should never help. Not everyone deserves help. This is a truth that many struggle to accept because we are taught from childhood that kindness is a virtue, that helping others is a moral obligation, and that offering a hand to those in need is always the right thing to do. But life has a way of revealing hard realities, and one of the most important lessons you will ever learn is this: not everyone who asks for help is truly in need, and not everyone who appears helpless actually wants to be saved. There are people in this world who see kindness as a weakness, who take without gratitude, and who manipulate the good-hearted into serving their own selfish desires. They do not seek solutions, they seek enablers. They are not looking for a way forward, they are looking for someone to carry their burdens while they continue to make the same mistakes. And if you are not careful, you will find yourself exhausted, drained, and betrayed, all because you believed in the wrong people. Think about it. How many times have you offered a helping hand only to realize that the person on the receiving end had no intention of changing their circumstances? How often have you given advice to someone who kept making the same poor choices, ignoring every word you said? How many times have you sacrificed your own time, energy, and resources for someone who, in the end, never appreciated it? This is the harsh reality. Kindness must be given wisely. There is nothing noble about allowing yourself to be used, and there is no virtue in helping those who refuse to help themselves. True help is meant to lift someone up, to empower them, to give them the tools to stand on their own. But when your kindness is taken for granted, when your generosity is met with entitlement, and when your willingness to help becomes an open door for manipulation, it is no longer kindness, it is self-destruction. There are people who live as eternal victims, always blaming their misfortunes on others while refusing to take responsibility for their own lives. These are the ones who will tell you their sob stories, who will make you feel sorry for them, who will take everything you offer and then turn around and make the same mistakes again. They will cry for help, but they do not want real solutions. They only want temporary relief, a moment of comfort before they go back to their old ways. If you continue to help these people, you are not saving them. You are simply delaying the inevitable. Then there are the manipulators, the ones who play on your emotions to get what they want. They will act helpless. They will pretend to be lost. They will make you feel guilty for not stepping in. But the moment you give them what they want, they will vanish, only to return when they need something again. They do not value your help. They only value what they can gain from you. And once they have taken all they can, they will move on without a second thought. Ungrateful takers are another group you must be wary of. These are the people who believe they are entitled to your help, who take everything you give without so much as a thank you. They never acknowledge your sacrifices, they never appreciate your efforts, and they certainly never reciprocate. Helping them is like pouring water into a broken cup. It will never be enough because they do not value what they receive. Then there are those who are simply unwilling to put in the effort. They complain about their circumstances, they talk about wanting change, but they do nothing to make it happen. They want you to solve their problems for them, to carry them forward while they do nothing to move themselves. And the moment you stop carrying them, they will fall back into the same patterns, proving that your help was never truly making a difference. Perhaps the most dangerous of all are the betrayers. Those who pretend to need you, who act like they value your help only to turn against you when it suits them. These are the people who will use you, who will take advantage of your kindness, and who will walk away without a second thought once they have gotten what they needed. They will gossip behind your back, they will twist your intentions, and they will leave you questioning why you ever helped them in the first place. So what is the solution? It is simple. Be wise with your kindness. Help those who genuinely seek change, who are willing to put in the effort, who appreciate your support and who will one day be able to stand on their own because of your help. But do not waste your energy on those who take without gratitude, who manipulate and deceive, who refuse to change, and who betray those who stand by them. Protect your heart, protect your energy, and understand that kindness is a gift, not a duty to be exploited. There is nothing wrong with saying no. There is nothing wrong with choosing where to invest your time and effort. And there is certainly nothing wrong with recognizing that not everyone deserves your help. Because at the end of the day, true kindness is not about giving endlessly. It is about giving wisely. There are people in this world who do not ask for help because they need it, but because they know how to manipulate the kindness of others. These are the ones who understand human emotions deeply, not to nurture them, but to use them for their own benefit. They are skilled at playing the victim, at making you feel guilty for not stepping in, and at convincing you that without your help, they are doomed. But the truth is, they are not helpless. They are simply expert manipulators. These individuals have a way of twisting your emotions so that you feel responsible for their problems. They will tell you sad stories, highlighting only the parts that make them seem innocent while leaving out the details that reveal their true nature. They might act like they have no other options, like the world has been unfair to them, and like you are the only person who can make things right. But in reality, they have many options. They just refuse to take responsibility for their own choices. The worst part is that manipulators do not take advantage of just anyone. They specifically target those with kind hearts. They know that good people struggle to say no, that they feel an obligation to help when someone is in need, and that they will go out of their way to lift others up. Manipulators thrive on this generosity. They see kindness not as something to be appreciated, but as a weakness to be exploited. One of their favorite tactics is guilt. They make you feel like a bad person for refusing to help, even when you have every reason to step away. If you say no, they might say things like, "I thought you were different," or "I guess I was wrong about you." They might remind you of times when you helped others and question why you were unwilling to help them. And if that doesn't work, they will try to make you believe that their entire future depends on your support, as if their problems are now your responsibility. Another common strategy manipulators use is exaggeration. They turn small issues into massive crises to get your attention. A minor setback suddenly becomes a life or death situation, and they act as if they have no way out unless you step in. They will cry, they will beg, they will say whatever it takes to make you drop everything and focus on them. And if you fall into this trap, they will do it again and again every time they need something from you. But what happens when you finally give in and help? Do they change? Do they use the opportunity to improve their lives? No, because manipulators do not actually want solutions. They do not want to learn how to stand on their own. They want someone who will keep carrying them, someone who will always be there to clean up their mess. And once they realize that you are willing to do that, they will make sure you never stop. Perhaps the most dangerous aspect of manipulators is that they are rarely grateful. They might say thank you in the moment, but as soon as they no longer need you, they will disappear. Worse, they may even turn on you, claiming that you did not do enough or that you only helped because you wanted something in return. Their loyalty is conditional, their gratitude is temporary, and their respect is non-existent. And when you finally see through their games and decide to walk away, they will not accept it easily. They will try to pull you back in with more lies, more guilt, more emotional traps. If that fails, they might turn to anger, calling you selfish or heartless for refusing to help. But this is the ultimate proof of their manipulation, because a truly grateful person, a person who genuinely needed help, would never attack you for choosing to protect yourself. So how do you deal with manipulators? The first step is recognizing them. Pay attention to patterns. Do they always seem to be in trouble? Do they always need something from you but never offer anything in return? Do they make you feel guilty for setting boundaries? If the answer is yes, then you are dealing with someone who is not truly in need, but is using you for their own benefit. The second step is learning to say no. You do not owe anyone your help, especially not someone who takes advantage of your kindness. A person who truly values your help will accept your limits. A manipulator, on the other hand, will push back, trying to make you feel guilty. But guilt is not proof that you are doing something wrong. It is only proof that they are trying to control you. Finally, you must remember that true kindness is not about allowing yourself to be used. It is about offering help to those who genuinely need it, who appreciate it, and who will use it to grow. Manipulators do not fall into this category. They do not seek growth, they seek control. They do not want to change. They want someone to carry their burdens. And the moment you realize this, you will understand that walking away is not cruelty, it is self-respect. In the end, the only way to stop a manipulator from using you is to stop allowing them access to your emotions. Do not fall for their guilt trips. Do not believe their exaggerated problems. Do not allow them to make you feel responsible for their choices. Because the truth is, you are not their savior. And if you continue to help them, you are not lifting them up. You are only allowing them to pull you down. There are few things more disheartening than helping someone who never appreciates it. You give your time, your effort, your resources, and yet, in return, all you get is silence, indifference, or even a sense of entitlement. There are people in this world who do not understand the value of kindness. They take and take without gratitude, without recognition, and without any thought of giving back. These are the ungrateful takers, and if you are not careful, they will drain you dry. At first, they may seem like ordinary people in need. They may even appear thankful when you first extend a helping hand, but as time goes on, you start to notice something. The gratitude fades, but their demands increase. It starts with a small favor, then another, then another. Soon, they are expecting your help as if it is their right, as if you owe it to them. And when you stop, when you finally say no, you see their true colors. Instead of thanking you for all you have done, they act offended, angry, even betrayed. The ungrateful taker does not see your help as a gift. They see it as something they are entitled to. In their mind, they deserve what you give, and because of that, they feel no need to acknowledge it. No matter how much effort you put in, no matter how much you sacrifice, they will always believe that you should have done more. If you help them once, they expect it again. If you help them twice, it becomes an unspoken rule. And if you ever stop helping, they act as though you have wronged them. This kind of person will never be satisfied. You could spend all your energy trying to lift them up, but they will never look back and say thank you. Instead, they will focus on what you didn't do. They will focus on what you didn't give, and no matter how much you help, they will always find a reason to act like it wasn't enough. Ungrateful takers come in many forms. Some are friends who only reach out when they need something. They disappear when things are going well, but suddenly reappear when they need a favor. Others are family members who act as though helping them is your duty. They never ask how you are, never consider your struggles, but always expect you to be there when they need support. There are even colleagues or acquaintances who take advantage of your generosity, using your kindness to lighten their own burdens while offering nothing in return. One of the worst things about dealing with ungrateful takers is how they make you question yourself. If you are a naturally giving person, you might start to wonder if you are the problem. Maybe you should have done more. Maybe you should have been more patient. But the truth is, the problem is not you, it is them. Kindness should never be an obligation, and gratitude should never be optional. A person who truly values your help will acknowledge it. A person who respects you will never take your generosity for granted. So how do you handle these people? The first step is to recognize them. Pay attention to how people respond to your kindness. Do they say, thank you? Do they acknowledge your efforts? Or do they take without a second thought? If someone constantly expects help but never expresses gratitude, you are dealing with an ungrateful taker. The second step is setting boundaries. Just because you can help someone does not mean you should. It is okay to say no. It is okay to put yourself first. In fact, it is necessary. People who take without gratitude will never stop unless you stop them. The more you give, the more they will expect. The only way to break the cycle is to refuse to participate in it. And finally, learn to invest your kindness wisely. There are people in this world who truly appreciate help. People who will take what you give and use it to grow. People who will one day return the kindness in ways you never expected. These are the people who deserve your energy, your support, and your care, not the ones who see your generosity as a right, but the ones who see it as a gift. At the end of the day, kindness is a beautiful thing, but it must be given with wisdom. There is nothing noble about allowing yourself to be used. There is no virtue in pouring your energy into people who do not value it. The world is full of people who will take everything you have to give and still walk away feeling as though you owe them more. But once you recognize them, once you learn to say no, you will free yourself from their grip. And in doing so, you will make room for the people who truly deserve your kindness. The ones who will cherish it, who will appreciate it, and who will one day return it tenfold. There is a painful reality that many kind-hearted people struggle to accept. Some individuals will never change, no matter how much you help them. You can give them advice, offer them opportunities, bail them out of trouble, and support them in every way possible, yet they will continue to repeat the same mistakes over and over again. These people are trapped in a cycle of self-destruction, and if you are not careful, they will drag you down with them. At first, you may believe that they just need guidance. You see their struggles and you assume they lack direction. You invest your time and energy into helping them because you genuinely want to see them succeed. But over time, you start to notice a pattern. They listen to your advice, but they never apply it. They accept your help, but they never use it to improve their situation. Instead, they find themselves in the same problems, making the same poor choices, suffering the same consequences, and each time they come back to you for help. These individuals are not victims of bad luck, they are victims of their own decisions. Yet they refuse to take responsibility. They will blame their circumstances, their upbringing, other people, anything except their own actions. And because they refuse to acknowledge the role they play in their struggles, they never take steps to change. They live in a loop, repeating their mistakes as if they have no control over their lives. One of the most frustrating things about dealing with these people is that they often act as though they want to improve. They will come to you with their problems, listen to your guidance, and even promise to change. But it is all temporary. As soon as the immediate crisis is over, they fall right back into their old habits. It is as if your help was nothing more than a temporary bandage covering up the problem instead of truly fixing it. And the worst part, they never see how much they are draining you. Every time they make a mistake, you are the one who has to pick up the pieces. Every time they fail, you are the one who has to step in and save them. It becomes a never-ending cycle where you invest more and more of your energy into someone who refuses to take control of their own life. Eventually, you realize that you are working harder for their success than they are. The painful truth is that some people do not want solutions. They want a safety net. They do not want to grow. They want someone to rescue them whenever things go wrong. And if you continue to help them, you are not actually doing them any favors. In fact, you are making it easier for them to stay the same. Because as long as they know someone will always be there to save them, they have no reason to change. Think about it. If someone never faces the full consequences of their actions, why would they ever stop making the same mistakes? If every time they fail, someone catches them before they hit the ground, why would they ever learn to stand on their own? Sometimes the best way to help someone is to step back and let them face reality, because only when they feel the weight of their own choices will they have a reason to change. So what can you do? The first step is recognizing when you are dealing with someone who refuses to learn. Look for patterns. Do they keep making the same mistakes? Do they ignore your advice and then expect you to fix things when everything goes wrong? Do they seem more interested in sympathy than in real solutions? If the answer is yes, then you are dealing with someone who is stuck in a cycle they have no intention of breaking. The second step is setting boundaries. It is not your job to fix someone else's life, especially when they refuse to fix it themselves. You can offer guidance, but you cannot force them to listen. You can give them opportunities, but you cannot make them take action. At some point, you have to let go. You have to accept that no matter how much you care, change is something they have to choose for themselves. And finally, you must learn to protect your own energy. You cannot pour all of your time and effort into someone who refuses to change without draining yourself in the process. There are people out there who truly want to grow, who are willing to put in the work, and who will take your help and use it wisely. These are the people who deserve your support, not those who expect you to carry them while they refuse to move forward on their own. At the end of the day, you have to understand that some people will never change, no matter how much you do for them. And that is not your fault. It is not a reflection of your kindness, your wisdom, or your efforts. It is simply a reality of life. The sooner you accept it, the sooner you can free yourself from the endless cycle of trying to save people who do not want to be saved. And when you do, you will have more time and energy to invest in those who are truly ready to grow. Some people in this world do not seek help to rise. They seek help to lean on others while they do nothing. These are the lazy dependents, the ones who expect others to do the hard work while they reap the benefits. They are not struggling because life has been unfair to them. They are struggling because they refuse to take responsibility for themselves. And if you are not careful, they will make their problems your problem. At first, it might seem like they just need a little support. They may say things like, I just need a little help to get back on my feet, or if I had the right opportunity, I could turn things around. And being the kind person you are, you believe them. You give them your time, your effort, maybe even your money, hoping that this will be the push they need to move forward. But time passes, and you start to notice something. They are not making any real effort. Instead of using your help to progress, they are using it as an excuse to remain stagnant. Lazy dependents do not want to put in the work. They do not want to struggle, to sacrifice, or to take risks. They would rather have someone else do it for them. They want success, but they do not want to earn it. They want comfort, but they are not willing to work for it. And because they do not want to take responsibility for their own lives, they find someone who will. That someone is often you. These individuals have a way of making you feel obligated to help them. They will remind you of the times you had support in your own life, as if that means you are now required to do the same for them. They will make you feel guilty for having more than they do, as if your success is somehow unfair. They will even try to convince you that it is your duty to help them, as if they are entitled to your efforts simply because they need them. And the more you give, the more they expect. It starts with small things, maybe lending them money, helping them with a job application, or letting them stay at your place for a while. But over time, their expectations grow. Suddenly, they are asking for bigger favors. Suddenly, they're not even asking anymore. They are demanding. And when you finally say no, when you finally put your foot down, they act as if you have betrayed them. But here is the truth. If someone truly wants to change their life, they will take action. They will do everything in their power to improve their situation, even if it means struggling, failing, and trying again. They will not sit around waiting for someone else to do it for them. A person who truly wants to succeed will take advantage of opportunities, not take advantage of people. The danger of helping a lazy dependent is that the more you do for them, the less they do for themselves. Instead of learning how to stand on their own, they learn how to rely on you. Instead of pushing themselves, they settle into the comfort of knowing that you will always be there to pick up the slack. And in the end, your kindness does not help them, it enables them. It teaches them that they do not need to work hard because someone else will always carry them. So how do you deal with these people? The first step is recognizing them. Pay attention to their patterns. Do they always seem to need help but never seem to be making progress? Do they expect others to do things for them instead of trying to figure things out on their own? Do they seem more interested in excuses than in solutions? If the answer is yes, then you are dealing with a lazy dependent. The second step is setting boundaries. Just because you can help someone does not mean you should. If someone refuses to put in the effort to improve their own life, you are not responsible for fixing it for them. It is not cruel to say no. It is not selfish to refuse to carry someone who refuses to walk. In fact, it is necessary. And finally, understand that real help is not about making life easier for someone. It is about helping them become stronger. Sometimes the best way to help someone is to let them struggle, to let them learn, to let them feel the weight of their own choices. Because only when they are forced to stand on their own will they truly understand the value of effort. At the end of the day, there is nothing wrong with helping others, but there is something wrong with allowing yourself to be used. There is something wrong with carrying people who refuse to walk. And the moment you stop enabling them, you will see the truth. They were never truly incapable of standing on their own. They just never had to, because as long as you were there to carry them, they had no reason to try. There is a kind of person who does not want help because they need it, but because they crave control. These are the manipulators, the ones who pretend to be in need, not because they are struggling, but because they know how to play on your kindness. They use guilt, sympathy, and deception as tools to get what they want, and if you are not careful, they will make you feel responsible for their well-being while they sit back and take advantage of you. At first, they may seem genuine. They will tell you heartbreaking stories, share their struggles, and make you feel as though you are the only one who can save them. They will paint themselves as victims, as people who have been treated unfairly by life, and they will make you feel guilty for having the ability to help while they suffer. And because you are a kind-hearted person, you will feel compelled to step in, but the more you help, the more you start to notice something strange. They do not seem interested in solutions. They never take your advice, never try to fix their problems, and never seem to make progress despite all the help you provide. Instead, they keep coming back with new problems, new crises, new reasons why they need your support. It is as if no matter how much you give, it is never enough. That is because to them, the goal is not to improve their situation. It is to keep you in a position where you feel obligated to help them. Manipulators thrive on making others feel guilty. They will remind you of all the times you have been fortunate, as if that means you are required to share your success with them. They will bring up every favor they have ever done for you, no matter how small, and use it as proof that you now owe them something in return. And if all else fails, they will act as though your refusal to help them proves that you are selfish, heartless, or ungrateful. These people know exactly what they are doing. They are not weak, they are not helpless, and they are not truly in need. They are opportunists who have learned how to manipulate emotions to their advantage. And the moment you stop playing their game, they will show you their true colors. Say no to them and watch how quickly their attitude changes. The sweet, helpless persona disappears, replaced by anger, resentment, or even threats. Suddenly, they accuse you of being cruel, of abandoning them, of not caring. They may even spread lies about you, trying to ruin your reputation just because you refuse to let them take advantage of you. But here is the truth. You are not responsible for their lives. You are not a bad person for refusing to be manipulated. You do not owe anyone your time, your energy, or your resources just because they know how to make you feel guilty. A real friend, a real person in need, will appreciate any help you offer. They will not expect it, they will not demand it, and they certainly will not punish you for saying no. So how do you handle manipulators? The first step is to recognize them. Pay attention to how they react when you do not immediately agree to help them. Do they try to guilt you? Do they act as if you are a bad person for setting boundaries? Do they bring up unrelated things from the past to make you feel like you owe them? If the answer is yes, you are dealing with a manipulator. The second step is to stand firm. Manipulators rely on your emotional response. They count on you feeling guilty, obligated, or pressured into giving them what they want. The moment you stop reacting emotionally and start responding logically, they lose their power. Do not let them twist your kindness into a weapon against you. Do not let them make you feel bad for refusing to be used. And finally, do not be afraid to walk away. Some people are not worth saving because they do not want to be saved. They want to control. If you allow them to stay in your life, they will drain you, manipulate you, and make you feel like you are the one at fault. The best thing you can do is cut ties and protect your peace. At the end of the day, kindness is a gift, not an obligation. Do not let manipulators twist it into something they can exploit. Help those who truly need it, those who appreciate it, and those who will use it to better themselves. And for the ones who only seek to control and manipulate, walk away. Let them find someone else to play their games with, because you are no longer a part of it.